Welcome, my name is Nairi, this is Fly Little Birds. I'm the doctor of 2 sons and I've been a foster carer, and today I'm going to talk about what you can expect as you journey through adoption and fostering. So the first thing that you can expect is curiosity from other people. So what you will find is people are curious about what the children have come from and why you wanted to do fostering or adoption. So you get lots of questions about that and why you've done it. And you will also get lots of people saying, oh, I thought about it, and what's it like, and I think I'd like to do it, but I'm not sure if I'm good enough for it, or it's not the right time for me. So you've got a lot of people saying that they were thinking of doing it, but now they're not going to do it. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to identify with you as a foster carer or adopter, but in reality they're not, because actually they've decided they don't want to do it. So you just need to be a little bit careful about how much information you give them. I think if they're a total stranger, I would give them very little. You will find they will try to push your buttons to find out more detail, especially of the background of the child. If they're a little bit closer as friends, obviously you can give them a little bit more information. I'm a firm believer of not trying to hold everything to yourself, because I think at the end of the day it is part of your life that you fostered or adopted. It's not something that you can kind of push under the carpet and pretend isn't happening. And I think particularly as foster carers as well, it's good to share. It's good to be able to share with other people. You just have to be a bit selective about who those people are and be sure that they're not going to pass on any information that you don't want them to pass on. So the next thing to say is sometimes people can be a little bit patronizing around these things, because obviously they want to think that they could have done it and they look at you doing it. And let's be honest, those of us who foster or adopt, we've really felt in the main that we've been called to do it, and it's something we really, really want to do. So it's not a choice for us, we really want to do it. We've made a choice, yes, but there's something that drives you inside when you go for fostering or adoption, and it's really something that's very hard to explain. So when people come up to you and they say, oh, the children are really lucky to have you, well, especially if it's been a bad day, you definitely don't think to yourself, the children are really lucky to have me, because you get your bad days. Let me know in the comments as well if you're a foster carer or adoptive, you've had that said to you, the children are really lucky to have you. And I always feel a little bit gutted for my sons when that's said. I know the sentiment is trying to praise me up, but the sentiment is also making the children look like they were undeserving, and we came along and swept them off their feet and gave them everything they needed as children. And I kind of believe that actually if we hadn't have come along for these boys, then somebody else would have. Maybe that's my faith, that somebody else would have picked them up and cared for them and done what we're doing. Yes, I believe we're a great match for our sons. Yes, I believe that we're right for them and we found each other, and so yes, I do think it's great that we found each other, but they deserve to have a family that loves them. It's not a case of the fact that we've done them a favour. I think that's what I'm trying to say. It's not a case of the fact that we've done them a favour. So adoption and fostering is an emotional roller coaster. If you're not strong emotionally, then you have to find ways of building up your resilience. I wouldn't actually say that I am that strong emotionally. I've been through a lot in my life, so I wouldn't say I am, but maybe because I've been through a lot in my life, then I've had a lot of knocks, then I can take some more knocks, and it's all on a scale, it's all relative, isn't it? But it's an emotional roller coaster, and you will find that at times you don't know if you've done the right thing. Foster carers do give up because it is emotionally draining, and if you don't find that you have people that you can offload onto, which is what I said earlier in the video, you don't have people that can support you and hear some of the more difficult things that perhaps you can't share with everybody, then sometimes foster carers will give up. If they've got a good supervising social worker that can hear those things, then maybe they'll keep going. But the longevity of foster carers is quite brief, and that is because it's emotionally draining, a little bit more so than adoption. But even with adoption, you will have your doubts as to whether you've done the right thing, regardless of how you feel about the child. So I'm not saying that you'll have your doubts because you haven't bonded with the child. I'm saying you can still have your doubts when you have, because you've taken on something that many people in the world wouldn't take on. It's slightly different from having your own children, where you can get pregnant and have a child and you're not making the same sorts of decisions. Now, I know you are making decisions to have a family, and I know not everybody can have a family, but what I'm saying is you are taking on, in effect, somebody else's child. So sometimes you do have doubts, sometimes you feel like you're not enough for the child, sometimes you may be challenged by the child's behaviour and wonder if you can do it, and sometimes people in the family or friends don't necessarily support you in the way that you expected. So it can be an emotional roller coaster. It's probably more of a struggle on the emotions than what most people credit it to be. So if you're thinking of going in for fostering and adoption, just make sure that you have dealt with your baggage as much as you possibly can, because you can't deal with everything that's in your past. Make sure that you have people around you that when you really need to share something that's more difficult, that they are there for you. And finally, the nice point is it's very fulfilling. So if you've been adopting or fostering for more than, say, 5 years, especially adopting, but if you've been doing that for more than 5 years and you're in the routine and pattern of doing it, you've built up a good bond or attachment with whatever children that you have in the home, then you'll know it's very fulfilling. So you get your very bad days when you do doubt, but you'll get your very, very good days where you know that it's very fulfilling and that you're getting that deep-seated satisfaction about what you've done. Not that you're a hero, not that you're a heroine, but that you're getting a good, real good, deep sense of fulfillment and satisfaction over what you've done, and know deep down it was the right thing, and the good times will come. So we'll have days when we look at our boys and we are just so proud of them because they've just done so well, because they struggle with so many things, but there'll be times when we look at them, I can't believe they did that. So I'll give you an example, end with a nice example, why not? We went down to see family yesterday and my boys played with the younger children really, really well while we were chatting to some of our family, and then one of my sons just asked one of the family members how they were, knowing that they hadn't been very well for quite a while, and he just said it out of the blue, wasn't prompted, said, and how are you, blah blah blah. And he's still a teenager, and they're relatively shy. I mean, I wouldn't say he's the shyest, but to come out with that comment unprompted just made me see that he was thinking about somebody else's emotions and feelings, which he finds difficult. And at that moment I was really, really proud of him. I thought, wow, I'm not sure that's got anything to do with us. I think that's got to do with you and the way that you're viewing the world, and the way that you see that this person needs to be asked right now how they're doing. So I hope you like that little story. Please subscribe if you're interested in information around adoption, fostering, childhood trauma, and check out my channel, and I will link a playlist for you with our experiences and stories on the back of that little story I've given you. There's a whole playlist about stories about our adopted boys, and I'll see you on Fly Little Birds. Thank you.